Welcome back to AFL Supercoach. Hope you all had a good round four. I sort of did, I guess. I was getting pretty worried there this Arvo, how things were going, and as usual, some things were going well, and of course, things weren't. I thought I was probably going to drop in rank because I'd seen quite a few monster scores getting around, but yeah, I was hoping at least if I did drop, hopefully not far. So I was happily surprised to see tonight that I'd gone up 444 spots. Because that's not 2,274 is not a bad score. It's consistent. That's all I was setting out to be this year. And so now we're up to 5,802. So pretty stoked with that considering where I was last year. At this point, so I think the team is set up nicely for the long term. The cash gen's there. I've got most of the major players that I want, and the structure's okay. So we'll get into the team so you can see. So yeah, Stewart, he was a letdown. I think he'll still be top six and stuff, but he definitely hasn't made the most of the really good run he was meant to get, and just this week really hurt because the people that didn't have him probably had a Luke Ryan or Hayden Young or Wanganeen Miller or one of them, and they all did well. So yeah, that hurts, but that's okay. He'll have one of his ceiling games, I reckon, and all will be restored. Sheasel just did his usual. Dacos was really good. He was meant to be tagged by FinMag, and it didn't really happen. They more just went head to head. So 102 there is pretty good. It's hard to determine whether trading him out for those who did was worth it or not. I think if you did, you wouldn't be too worried, but if you held, I think that's good as well. I'm happy I held. I don't want to be messing around with another trade later on just to get him back in or something. But he did go missing in the last quarter, which was unusual because normally he does really well in last quarters. Speaking of going missing in the last quarter, Massimo, he was so frustrating. So he started out really quiet, and then in I think it was the third quarter, he put on a whole bunch of points really quickly, and then it looked like he was going to get a really decent score. And then the last quarter, he sat on the bench for about 20 minutes. So I don't think that's his fault, the 20-minute bench time, but yeah, really frustrating. I think that 120 or whatever it was in the first round was the anomaly, and what we are seeing now is the true form of his scoring. But he's fine to keep for another week or two or whatever. As soon as we can get McKercher and Roberts, the DPP for them, maybe that will be time to move on Massimo, if he makes it that far. And same for Williams. So he was better this round. It was his best score for the year, but apparently he's got maybe some hamstring problem. It's only a rumour so far, but apparently he'll find out his scan results tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know. It's only a rumour. Rumours definitely are scary, though, with players with that kind of injury history. Howes was 46. I had no choice but to field him. I think quite a few people had no choice but to field at least one shitty rookie this week in defence. It's just carnage back there, but, prayers might have been answered now with Closey, and Brown actually looked really good today. I think he tunned or went close. He's going to be more expensive because he's already had a price rise, but yeah, you can either get them in or just wait for the DPP for Roberts and McKercher, which is 2 weeks away, I think. So Bont 141, really good. He has only lost, I think, about 10k off the top of my head from his starting price, so he's just doing what we want him to. He's there to get points. I don't care about the money. Green 109, as I said, if that's a floor game, that's fine. Butters 119, that's his usual at the moment. Still, I thought he'd go big on Norwood Oval because it's, confined space. He had 10 plus tackles. But yeah, he was really good. I just think with him, if he could actually lead and get some cheap marks and kicks and stuff, he'd be even better again, obviously. But yeah, still really happy with him this year. So Crouch 97, that's fine for his price and stuff. I fully regard him as a primo. His points per minute are insane. I just wish he had higher tog, but it is what it is. 112 average off the first 4 games. He's a primo. Unless he falls off a cliff, he's not leaving my side. For now, like, he'd have to be like the last upgrade or something, and that's assuming that everything else was going right. So Roberts another 80, made heaps more cash. He's still going to make more cash. So it's going to be really important with that DPP I spoke about earlier. I think having Roberts and McKercher, that link between them, maybe keep one in the midfield, one down back, that will help a lot. McKercher was disappointing though, 54. He got played in the midfield. I hope that Clarko puts him to half back again so he can just do the seagull thing, but who knows, honestly. He's still a fine pick. I think, he's shown that he can score. He had a quiet game in one of them off half back as well, so who knows, it might have been an anomaly. He might come out next week in the midfield and score a 90 or something. Sanders 82 would have been higher, but he got bevoed. Only like 60-something% tog. I hate Bevo, honestly. I just wish he'd get sacked, but don't we all? Reed 91, so this hurt. He was stuck on my bench. I didn't even have him as emergency, seeing as he trotted out a couple of 50s lately. And Sharp 126, that was a surprise, especially against bloody Carlton, but it was a nice surprise because I get the cash now and he's still in minus break even, but yeah, he was my emergency and I just could not get him on the field, so tough watch. Clark's is going to be a slow burn. I think his job security is okay because Geelong's midfield issues, but I think you're just going to get some scores like this along the way. He hasn't made enough, so can't even get rid of him yet. He's only made like 60k, so once he gets to like 100 or something, I'm not too worried, like Sharp and Reed and all these guys, they're all making really good money, so if Clark just sits there and he's a slow burn, I honestly don't give a shit. Gawn kept up with his 130 average. I VC'd him. Definitely took the conservative approach there, but can't be too unhappy. 129 is, I think it's a pretty good score to take. Now, obviously, I thought Heaney would go big against West Coast, but you just never know. Like, who was it last week that played against West Coast? They were meant to go big as well, and it was Bont, and he didn't. So it kind of put me off, and I captained him, I think. And Grundy also didn't go off against West Coast. 93, really disappointing. Now, every ruckman this year has top scored against West Coast, and Grundy couldn't do it, so he is hopefully going to make way for English this week. Heaney, enough's been said about that guy. Flanders, 125. He is exceeding expectations. He even played off half-back today. I thought when I started him that he would go like probably 100 flat or an average like that. He's killing it. It must be pretty tough if people didn't start him. I'd still be looking to get him in, especially given that the forward line is still an issue for everyone. Like there's really no obvious top 6 prospects, I think, like locks outside of Heaney and Flanders right now. So Power 73. As I said in the video last night, I thought he was underscored. I gave my tinfoil hat theory on what happens with the players that get high tackles. But then that was probably disproven today with Still. So Jaden Popowski, the absolute stats guru on Twitter, he said that Power should have got an extra 6 points by his calculations. Now I know 6 points doesn't really matter, but a 79 would have been a lot nicer than 73. But that's fine. He's made 100k. If he doesn't turn out to be a keeper, then still he's made good cash. Jordan is currently on the next flight to Beijing. He was shit. Complete shit in the game against West Coast. Having said that, though, I don't view him as a failed pick because, as I said, it was very, very bleak when we were making these starting teams for the forward line. And Jordan's managed to put 75 points a week on average on the field for us, and he's made 75k. So whatever you view him as, a placeholder, a stepping stone, whatever, he's done it. He's done it fine. I'm not worried about him at all, but he does have to go now and learn Chinese. Fife 102. This is the best I've seen him perform in years. It's the best version of like veteran old Fife that we've seen. He can just stick around till he gets injured. Darcy 84. I was quite happy with that because I wanted Dempsey, but I went Darcy for the upside and cash. In hindsight, either would have been fine, but sometimes you just have to gamble on that choice. Darcy outscored him, so that was quite important for this week, I think, to make me feel better. I'll still have to field Darcy, I think, this week as well, but, you know, the best 18 thing kind of helps with the worries of him getting bevoed in some way. Surely he doesn't bring back Lob after that. I think Darcy got 3 goals, so... Cadman 50, so his break-even's still in the negative. So, yeah, he can stick around a bit longer. He's made just over 100k. And Wilson, he got underscored in that game, I swear. He did some really big things at the end there that didn't get much scaling at all, or if any. I thought he should have got at least a 60. Like, that tackle out of nowhere was pretty much a game saver. But yeah, he'll probably be like Clark, not to that degree, but he'll be a bit of a slow burn. Hopefully that's raised his confidence though, and you know, Ross obviously likes him, has backed him in this far, so I think he'll still make a fair bit of money from this point, but he's not at the point yet where I would feel happy trading him out. So yeah, that's the team. As I said, I'm pretty happy with where it is, well, where it's looking for the long term. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about the team and the structure and stuff. I'll review the games from today because I already did the others last night. So all 3 of the games today were really good. Now, Matt Rao, 129, he was picking it up. But I have noticed with him that he gets away with a lot of holding on and a lot of incorrect disposal. I have noticed this year in the AFL in general that there's a fair bit of incorrect disposal going on that's not being paid, but Rao in particular gets away with it, I think. I would like him in my team though. I think that he'll probably be top 10 mid, and he's the best pick out of the Suns mids, in my opinion, because he can't really play anywhere else, so they leave him in there. They got no choice really. Flanders already talked about. Closey 108 on debut, so 22 disposals and 1 goal. I think I might have no choice but to go early on him. Don't like doing that normally, but you know, the defense is what it is, so I don't know how I'm going to do it either, because Jordan, I don't think I can straight swap him to Closey unless I move Dacos to the midfield, which I'm not a fan of doing. So yeah, I haven't really thought about trades yet. Still got to look at a few things and wait for news on Williams and things like that. Mac Andrew had a career game to date. He looked good, but yeah, his disposal and 8 clangers here, that let him down. Lukosius off half back looked pretty good. So I think he's around 400k. I don't know, I'd probably, for that price, you'd want to see a bit higher score out of him than that. Anderson 89, so he's probably going to drop in price. And Took 89. Quite happy with that because I was tossing up, obviously, with, as I said before, with Green in. Well, instead of Green, I was thinking Took or Sarong. So to see this was pretty good. Took, I think you can still bring in, but I'd be a bit worried now that he seems to be getting less CBAs. But yeah, if you started him, he's been good. Humphrey 71 subbed out. That's an interesting one because at half time, I think he was one of the highest scorers for Gold Coast. Yeah, not sure what they were thinking there. Willpower 59, he should drop in price. I don't think he's going to be top 10, but if he somehow does get low enough, he might be a cheap option. Same as Ballard, but neither of them are really consistent enough, I'd say. Fiorini has had a good start to the year, but he finally put in one of his usual scores. Euland, I think 47. He's not really a pick. He's just been made to look better because the defensive rookie carnage. I've missed Will Graham, 67 in his first game, so definitely keep a watch on him. That's pretty good. Dimmer's definitely the kind of coach as well that will reward these guys that perform, like the kids. I don't think he's going to bring like Sexton or someone back in just because he's more senior if they're performing. And Reed, 44, nothing to write home about, but obviously keep an eye on him, I guess. Thomas Berry, 41, so I think that was roughly his break even off the top of my head. So if you held him, he's probably got to go now. The 120 that he scored against the Crom was only because it was raining. He'll never get that again. Tom Green, 100. Oh, sorry, Toby Green, 100. I'm not confident that he's even top 8 from here. He just doesn't look like he was last year. He's kind of just hanging around goal more and not getting up the field as much. But who knows? Whitfield, 87. Now, in isolation, that's not a good score at all for him. You'd be quite disappointed, especially those that bought him in this week. But obviously, that's just because he was off for pretty much the whole second quarter, I think. He had that vision test. So to get that score in basically 3 quarters after getting the knock to the head, yeah, that's really good. So it's just shitty luck if you bought him in this week. He still beat Tom Stewart, so, there's that. But, yeah, the logic and everything of bringing him in was really good. It's just shit luck. And, yeah, I still want to bring him in because he's going to be still a decent price. Hogan, 86, that's not bad. He's not going to be top 6 though, surely. Briggs, 78, he's been quiet this year. I don't think there's any point in bringing him in though, even if he gets cheap, because the top 3 rucks this year are clear cut. It's clearly Gawn, English, and Marshall. Ware, 69, so it's pretty good if you held on to him. And then Harvey Thomas, 18. Yeah, that's a disaster. I know there's some people out there that had him. I've actually got him in fantasy because I started him and I don't really pay any attention to fantasy. Hate to admit that, but Supercoach is supreme. So this game was more of a competition and a lot closer than I expected it to be. And probably a result of the whole Norwood Oval thing, although Richmond seemed to play better on bigger ovals. So Bolton, 133. Don't get sucked in. He'll put up a 60 next week probably. Tom Brown, 95. There we go. So I don't know what he's priced at now. Let's see. He probably can't see me because it's outside of the screen here. But so he's 213 now. So he's probably, yeah, I think that ship sailed. But yeah, that was really good. People that got him, you'd be happy with everything that's going on. I don't think Richmond are hugely relevant, to be honest. Campbell, 57. I think he had a really good first half from memory, and then he dropped right off. Short, 66. What a disaster. He's had 2 shitty scores in a row. If you started him, I think he's actually lost money now. Vlosten, he sucked a few in. 45. Yeah. That's the thing with all these Richmond players. They're all ultra inconsistent. So McAuliffe, 16. I don't think anyone had him anyway. Marshall, 147. Huge second half. Still the same, 142. Sinclair, 124. Is he back? Definitely one to watch there. What's his break even? I should have researched this stuff before I did the video, but I got too much of a busy work day tomorrow, so I had to get it out tonight. It's 115 break even, so he could still go down. Yeah. I still think that Sinclair, he's a chance to be top 6 defender. He's just too good, too consistent. But this guy, Wanganeen Miller, he's probably taking points off Sinclair, I would say. So he was good again, 114. If you got him in, well done. Seb Ross, 95. He's one to watch. So last week he went 120 something. He's quite cheap as well. Just again, Supercoach isn't working properly. Everyone must be on checking their ranks. Yeah, I think that Seb Ross is around 400k. So, yeah, I don't know. If you were going to get on him, you'd have to do it now, I think, because he could make 100k if he keeps this up. But yeah, it's probably not a spot for him, given everyone should have the 3 midfield rookies now, and the rest of it should be sorted. So, Bonner 88, not too bad if people still had him. Yeah, there's not a hell of a lot of relevance at St Kilda either. Zach Jones, he's annoying to watch, honestly. When you want like Wilson or Steele to be getting the ball, it always seems like Zach Jones pops up and takes the ball right next to them. And then he only ends up with 11 disposals. And I swear all 11 of those were meant to be for Wilson or Steele. Okay, so yeah, another one that was a lot closer than I expected it to be. Tom Mitchell, he's risen from the dead. He's putting up some good scores lately, I think. But yeah, still not a pick. DeGoey, I know people were hoping to get him cheap, and he's kind of killed that now. I wouldn't be touching him at all. He's just way too inconsistent. Cameron 110, again, same as Briggs. Like, just go for one of the top 3 ruckman. Dacos obviously higher than expected. Frampton's put up 2 decent scores in a row. But yeah, I wouldn't go there. Again, Collingwood's not really fantasy relevant or Supercoach relevant, are they? Lipinski's back to usual Lipinski form. Pendlebury injured. Does that open the door for Finn McRae? I wouldn't bother. Okay, so Lloyd Meek, 130 for the Hawks in the ruck. Is that a one-off score? Like, we know that he could score fairly decent when he was at Fremantle without Darcy in the team. I don't trust it at all. Yeah, Reeves is probably going to come back in at some point. I don't know. I honestly don't know with Sam Mitchell. He's not really a terrorist, but he does like to rotate the squad a lot, because I think Hawthorn's far from having a settled best 22 or whatever, 23. Aim on 112. To think that he was meant to be a starting pick hasn't worked out. But yeah, 112 today was good for anyone that had him. I don't know why you would though. Newcomb finally, 110. He's not a pick. I hope no one got sucked into that one. Sicily 95, so he's seems to be getting back to more himself. Yeah, he's really struggling back there from just the lack of other good tall defenders. Ramsden 71, he was alright. I don't think he'll get that every week though, so yeah. Maybe a watch though. D'Ambrosio, already talked about him. Yeah, there's not really anything else here. Or Hustwaite, a 4. It's not a bad thing, actually. Supercoach still messing up. This is ridiculous. I want to check with Hustwaite, because he could actually drop in price, because he was meant to be, well, I think he was 180k. If he drops in price, that could actually be good for us. If he drops in price and then gets like a prolonged period in the team. What's this crap about a shield? So he's only played the 2 games, has he? He's still 184. So break even of 55. He could actually go down. That's an interesting one. He's one to watch, but Sam Mitchell, he can't be trusted. As I said, he's not a terrorist, but yeah, I don't think you can trust him. Alright, so that wraps it up. I'm tired. I've had enough of watching footy all day. Such a roller coaster, especially when you're invested in Supercoach. But yeah, it is fun. At the end of the day, it's a fun game. When things go your way, it's good. So I hope things went your way, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. It'll probably be a trade video. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in that one.